Yo, what's going on guys? Jared here. Today I'm coming back at you with another video, and this is going to be a Super Heavy Samurai combo and deck profile video. There's going to be a combo at the end that I'm doing with this build, and I'm going to explain the pros of this combo. I feel like a lot of the combos that people are doing online that I've been seeing at least are a lot of the very generic Appaloosa, Baron, Regulus, maybe a Savage Dragon here or there, stuff like that. And I don't know, maybe these people are doing very basic combos for clickbait or something like that. But the problem with combos like these is that they always end up with Baron and Appaloosa. Those two together are a big no-no for me in combos because that leads into a super poly play, which can easily break the board and make this much easier. And yeah, it's just not good. It really just ends it very badly. On top of that, like the lines that they were doing, and sometimes like being able to play super heavy in the draw and lock bird, are sometimes really unfortunate. Also, things like Lava Golem might be played now, and Santa Claus, thanks to Pearly, also being played. So you have to think like this when going into a meta that's going to be developing. And we already know that things like Kaji are going to be popular because of Pearly, and we know that Drone Lockbird is going to be popular because of Super Heavy. And yeah, so we need to find deterrents for that. And as you can see in this build, I have some different aspects and different types of things I want to go for in this. So so to start off, was to do like a very quick introduction of the deck of how it is 3 copies of Ash, 3 Droll, 3 Ghost Ogre, 3 Gamma. I think these are like the best hand traps moving forward. Ash is like questionable, but it's still just like that nice roundabout one. But it can still end a turn if you hit it in the right spot, or if they might only have a single starter in their hand. And yeah, so I know a lot of hand trap decks. I've been going with more of like a 15 count, but you're only going to be going first like half the time, going second the other half of the time. So I would side probably more hand traps for when I know I'm going second, but I want a stronger going first because you don't want to lose to something like Droll and Lockbird off the rip and then just immediately lose. So and then we have the one driver, of course. I am going for an Ibly combo here. And the reason this is because of something like the Santa Claus play I was talking about. Ibly is also very strong against something like Purely because they have to, one, link away their normal summon with it to be able to keep going. No Purely player is playing Lingaribo right now, 100%. And also, even if they do normal summon, you are going to be able to have an out to beat the normal summon in the form of IP Masquerena as well. And you're probably thinking, oh, well, if you have IP Masquerena on the field, that means you have an attack position monster on the field. So they can just turn Ibly to attack mode and attack into the IP Masquerena. And that is where really random redundant cards where I have to read through every Super Heavy Samurai monster comes in, like Super Heavy Samurai Magnet. This is a very obscure card, but pretty much the gist of it is monsters your opponent controls cannot attack any monsters except himself. Meaning, if you have 2 of them, they can't attack, which is never going to happen. But the point is, you're going to have this in defense position, so they cannot just slam into the IP Masquerena. And then if they normal summon something, that is when you are going to be able to use the IP to spin away the normal summon, and then they are still in the same position. The IP is sitting there, and if you have this against something such as Purely, the Purely spells cannot actually summon out any of the Purely monsters. Thus, they cannot play, and then you are just set up to easily OTK because you're going to have negates on top of this board. And then, of course, we have the other like normal extenders of the deck. We have the booster. We also have the Soul Claw. For some reason, this is level 2. Very good. It just summons off when it's equipped. So level 2 extender. This is going to be relevant for the combo. Scales is very good. I almost want to play more of this card, but it's like it's a card you don't want to draw. But like the late past turn 1, this card's like godly. So I don't know. I'm like 50-50 with it. 3 copies of Big Benki, 3 copies of Soul Peacemaker. These are not like the starters, they're like pseudo starters. They can get to everything, but they require other cards to do it. For the true starters, it is the 3 of the Wakushi, 3 Bike, 3 Soul Peacemaker or Piercer, and then 3 Wagon. These are all actual starters of the combo. You have to do the combo a little bit differently, like sequencing wise, to actually get it to where you need it to go. But just very basic. And then I play 2 copies of Regulus and 2 copies of Fenrir. These are in here for like Droll and Lockbird deterrent. So Droll is going to be probably the most prominent hand trap moving forward for the next format, at least in the beginning of the format before it develops. And obviously, there's the card that everyone's talking about. And my personal rule of formats is if Droll and Lockbird is good, that makes Gamma good, and then if Gamma and Droll and Lockbird are both good in the same format, the format's awful. It's always been that way in my opinion. Every format in history where that has occurred, it's been terrible. Anytime Droll's relevant, it's just a bad format. But we need to find ways to deter that. So if we go something like use Super Heavy Bike, and they use Droll, we want to either have like Regulus, Fenrir, or Gamma to either stop the Droll, or to at least put up some form of interruption to be able to stop them. So that's the reasoning for everything in the main deck. I want to keep this 40, keep it consistent. You don't have a lot of other options in the main deck because you are literally eliminating all spell and traps in the game by playing this deck, but you still get a lot of good power and combos and consistency in this deck from just playing it, so many ways. For the extra deck, there is something I want to change, but I'm not I can't find a card that I want to like definitively cut yet, but just something to keep in mind. So we have the 1 copy of Excel Synchro, 1 copy of Baron, 1 copy of Savage Dragon, 1 Omega, 1 of the General, I'm just going to call him General. He comes out next set too, but this is a Babushka out. That's just something that's important. He's a level 8 Synchro that can attack and defense. He's 25, so he can beat over Babushka. 1 copy of Zeus, Gear Gigant, the Gigantic Sprite for the combo for the Ibli. 1 copy of IP, Unicorn, Lambda, Cleefort Genius. 2 copies of Scarecrow, and then 1 Underworld Goddess. If you were not playing Underworld Goddess, you were just accepting a loss to the Chaos. Chaos guy? I don't remember the name. It's the Synchro that you don't need a tuner for. And he's unaffected by monster effects, by activated monster effects, and can't be destroyed by battle. So you need a way to beat him, and the Goddess is going to be your best way of doing it. You just need to swarm the field and just link it off. If you don't do that, you're just accepting your loss to it, unfortunately. But the card I wanted to actually fit in here was Babushka, but I need more testing to figure out what needs to come out for it, because Babushka itself is also a very good card for when you get drolled. It stops Pearly a lot of the time. It could also stop the mirror match sometimes and force them into bad plays. So yeah, just something I really want to put in here, just something to keep a note of, that I really want to put it in the deck. But that's like the explanations for everything, and I think it all makes sense. And yeah, I'm actually just excited to show you guys the combo. Okay, so I'm going to make this like as simple as possible with just 4 hand traps and then the 1 copy of Wakashi. I think I might like skip a couple of like key steps, but I'll just explain them as we go. So we're going to use the effect to then put the Big Benki. Big Benki gets Soul Piercer. Like the start of all the super heavy combos are like all the same. You could really just get to like the both pen scales and then like certain guys on field, and then it'll always be the same. So yeah, we're going to use Piercer to grab Bike, so we can get Bike in the graveyard. Bike's going to grab the Soul Peacemaker. And then we're going to use the Scarecrow to bring back the Peacemaker. And then this sets up the Baron line so that we are protected from certain hand traps. It just makes it safer, that's all. And then, yeah, we're going to get the Wagon with the Soul Piercer again. The fact that this isn't once per turn is just always absurd. Any not hard once per turn in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Is absurd now. So we're going to equip the Peacemaker to the Scarecrow and then use the effect, the special from deck. We're going to summon the Scales, use the Scales, summon back the Soul Peacemaker. Soul Piercer, and this is where combos start to change, right? Like, I feel like every super heavy samurai deck gets to this point, and it's kind of like, all right, now it's like pretty normal. So usually you get to the Genius, and then the Soul Piercer is going to get to the Magnet, and then I forgot to put this in the scale. Like I said, I forget some steps, but yeah, like so this is supposed to be in the scale from when you synchro it off earlier. Then you're going to Pendulum summon the Wagon and the Magnet. And then you are going to search Regulus with Genius because you summon 2 machines, and then equip the Soul Piercer, and then use Baron, pop Soul Piercer to search the Soul Claw. And then you are going to use the Wagon effect to add the booster. Special, equip the Soul Claw, special the Soul Claw, overlay Genius and the Claw because it's a Link 2, and this is a level 2, so that lets us go into Gigantic Sprite. And then we can equip this and then special it again because that's like their gimmick, I suppose, for the Soul cards. And then overlay those 2 for Gear Gigant X. This lets us add a follow-up, so we get the Bike back from our graveyard to our hand. So now we have follow-up as well. And now we can use the Gigantic Sprite to summon the Ibli. And then you can use the Ibli and the Gigantic for IP, and then give your opponent the Ibli. So this pretty much ends on a follow-up in the form of Bike if you don't use IP. If you don't use IP, I should say, you have a Gear Giant as well to be able to add more follow-up. 2 Omni Negates, Ibli that says your opponent, whatever meta deck they're playing, cannot play. As you know, Kashtira really can't play. Pearly cannot special summon off their spell cards. Super Heavy can't really do anything because all of their cards special summon. If they go normal summon Soul Piercer, you just use the Ibli to spin it away, and then they're stuck with Ibli still, and it's the same result. You just link off the Gear Gigant and the Ibli to go, or the IP Masquerade to go in the Unicorn, and then spin it away. And yeah, so, and then you just OTK in the follow-up because you have 2 Omni Negates. And yeah, so this is game against, I would say, every meta deck that's in the next format, including even Sprite also. Like, that's just, it's absurd. It really is an absurd board. But yeah, overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this combo. This is a little different one. I think that people are being a little bit too linear in this deck. I know there's like an FTK. You can also do Stein plays with the Gear Gigant and the Platinum Gadget. You could also just hard make Naturia Beast and Barkion as well if trap decks and certain spell decks get more and more popular. But a lot of those forms play into stuff like the Santa Claus and Dark Lord No More and stuff like that. So it's about finding the happy median of what you need to play around while playing this deck, I suppose. But yeah, overall, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Put a little time into this combo, so just something a little different that I think that is unique. And I'll see you in the next video, and if not, I'll see you at YCS Philly. Bye, guys.